This creator went viral for having a crush, but the reason people are still watching is much more disturbing. Tyler Catastrophe is a TikTok content creator who is also a jewellery maker. A while ago, he got extremely popular for revealing that he has a hidden crush on an internet celebrity, and Tyler took advantage of his newfound fame. He would constantly make videos about it and admitted that he was trying to use that to make money from the situation. He would vaguely post about the situation and base his entire content around that crush, and soon enough, people figured out who Tyler was talking about. If you were on the internet back in late 2020 and early 2021, you may remember the DreamSMP. The DreamSMP was a Minecraft server created by a popular creator Dream, and he was regularly joined on Minecraft by other YouTubers and streamers. Popular names like TommyInnit, Quackity, and the most relevant one in this case, Wilbur Soot. Wilbur Soot, real name Will Gold, was a gaming creator who broke through in the late 2010s and early 2020s. He started to gain a lot of popularity in the Minecraft community, making his start on the Earth SMP, but blowing up through his Minecraft challenge videos and collaborations on the DreamSMP with popular members. He was a good storyteller, which got the audience on board. He quickly became one of the most popular members of the server because his story arcs made him stand out from the rest. However, YouTube wasn't his end goal because he wanted to transition into music. He started to cross over into the music world, with viral songs like Your New Boyfriend and Internet Ruined Me garnering a lot of attention. Eventually, he decided to form his own band, known as Lovejoy, which gained a serious following completely separate from the work that he was doing online. Around this time, he was in his prime. He had a highly dedicated and emotionally invested audience, as did the entire SMP, and it birthed a lot of social media stan accounts. His songs, his work, his name, they all trended on a regular basis, but as time went on, he moved away from YouTube and streaming, with things slowly starting to die down. Skip forward to early 2024, and shockwaves would be sent through revived fandoms as creator Shubble, real name Shelby, spoke out about abuse that she had suffered in a previous relationship. She touched on how she was bitten, how the boyfriend in question had an ant infestation in their house, and how he would constantly break the boundaries that they had previously set out. It didn't take long for people to connect the dots and realise that the things she was talking about, all of it pointed to one person. In old videos that were dug up, content creators who were friends with Wilbur Soot had previously noted his biting habits, and he had publicly admitted that his home had an ant problem in one old stream. It became clear that Shelby was talking about Wilbur, and eventually he acknowledged the allegations. In one of the worst apologies ever released by a cancelled content creator, he acknowledged the situation and admitted to being a difficult partner. I regrettably became slobbish, disrespectful, and selfish, he said. These actions caused a lot of pain to my ex-girlfriend, and I have since sought therapy to address these behaviours. As the statement continued, he avoided the truth, and most importantly, avoided all accountability. He downplayed his actions and discredited his victim, drawing a lot of public backlash. However, just because the majority of people on the internet were outraged by his lackluster apology, he still had those who defended him. One person who did so was a TikToker by the name of Tyler Catastrophe. Tyler's celebrity crush was none other than Wilbur Soot, and this continued long after the allegations. He didn't care that he was a man with a crush on a straight man, But that was far from the worst of it.
Cancel culture is bullshit. And I'm not talking about holding people accountable for their awful actions, because obviously we should be doing that. I'm talking about how many people are training their audiences to be internet attack dogs, which is not cool. And right now, it's really hard to be on the internet. Feels like every other day we're getting someone who's secretly a terrible person. But I'm starting to realize that a lot of people don't know the difference between fucking up and abusing people. And as someone who has been abused, kind of a lot, I'm gonna explain the difference. Because if you don't know the difference, there are a lot of people who will try to use you as a weapon against the people they don't like. And I don't know about you, but I don't like being used for anything. So if you find yourself asking, is this person an abuser, or did they just fuck up somehow? Here are some questions that you should always ask. The first question's a little gray, but it has to do with intention. Did they knowingly hurt you on purpose? And if you know for a fact that they did it on purpose, then yeah, that person sucks, they're an abuser. But if you can't be sure they knew they were hurting you, you have to ask yourself another question. This one's a two-parter. One, did you tell them it hurt you? Because if you didn't, I'm sorry, you have to. You can't assume they know unless you tell them. But after you tell them, you have to ask, how did they respond to you telling them? Did they get angry? Did they blame you? Did they hurt you more? Did they try to shut you up somehow? Then yeah, unfortunately, probably an abuser. Or did they find out that they hurt you and apologize? Did they validate your feelings? Did they promise to change? Did they make genuine efforts to better themselves towards you and people around them? Because in that case, they're probably just someone who fucked up. And I'm not giving you this information because I think that someone specific deserves to be absolved of all crimes or something. I'm giving you this information because as someone who has been abused more times than I'd like to tell you about, I still believe that everyone deserves a chance to be forgiven. And with all the time and energy we spend hoping people in our lives will change, you cannot hope for that without allowing them to change when they realize they've fucked up. And if you want people to be better, you have to let them try to be. And unfortunately, the elephant in many of these discussions is that it's really easy to lie. And also, it's really easy for someone to vastly exaggerate when they're mad at someone. That's just humans at this point. So if someone you don't know on the internet is telling you something about someone else you don't know on the internet, please just take a step back, take a deep breath, ask yourself some questions, because chances are you don't have all the information, and it's okay to wait to form an opinion until you do have more information. I know no one tells you this very often, but making a snap judgment immediately is dangerous for a lot of people. So don't be an internet attack dog for people you don't know, especially if you're a teenager. I promise you're gonna regret that later. Be kind to each other. Think critically.
Tyler makes a couple of good points, but they're surrounded by terrible takes. For someone who sounds so confident, he couldn't be more wrong. This video was the biggest indicator of one of Tyler's greatest problems. He is very parasocial. From this video alone, we can already tell that Tyler thinks he knows Wilbur Soot personally. He is not the person to be telling us how to judge Wilbur's situation. Shelby is, because she was the one who suffered at the hands of him, not Tyler. It's already bad enough for people to be parasocial over a content creator and defend their content to the ends of the earth, but when you're actively defending their messed up and horrible actions, then you've certainly crossed the line. One thing quickly became clear after Shelby's allegations. All of Wilbur's former friends wanted nothing to do with him. In fact, they wouldn't even utter his name. Tyler didn't see this as proof of any abuse, but rather saw it as them trying to avoid the cancel culture that he loves to name drop. It's important to remember that it's a lot easier to avoid backlash than it is to face things head on, Tyler said. He very well could have asked them to just protect themselves and avoid things. We don't know either way. He wouldn't stop at defending the abuse, because over a series of TikToks going back years, Tyler would constantly express his desire to move to England. He created a GoFundMe asking people to help a disabled trans guy escape Texas. In the beginning, he claimed that he needed the money to move because he was offered an arts opportunity.
I just love asking for help on the internet. Because I found my dream job, and I got my dream job, but I gotta go to the dream job. And the only way to do that is to pay to get there.
But that allegedly fell through at the last minute. He didn't just want to move anywhere in the UK either, because he had a plan. He wanted to move to Brighton, a seaside town down south, and people put the pieces together as to why he was maybe pursuing the move. Brighton is a hot spot for a lot of people. It is often referred to as the gay capital of the UK, and it does have a large presence of genuinely decent people. However, not everyone is decent, as one notable resident is Wilbur Soot. With this in mind, people started to suspect that the arts opportunity Tyler was claiming to have been offered had never existed in the first place, and the real reason he was planning to move was because of the creator. Whether this is true or not is not for me to decide, because no one will ever know apart from Tyler, but with everything taken into account, it it isn't impossible. Tyler has an obsession with Wilbur, so you can imagine his excitement when one day he actually met the man, and he made a TikTok again expressing his love and telling the viewers about the awkward interaction.
I have had a crush on Will Gold since 2019 when I heard him laugh in the background of someone else's video and it felt like life itself. I have had a crush on Will Gold since 2019 when I heard him laugh in the background of someone else's video and it felt like life itself leaned in to listen. Which is really inconvenient for me because I am very much a one soul at a time kind of person, so once I develop a crush, virtually no one else stands a chance ever. And at the time, I had just broken off a terrible engagement to a guy who didn't even fucking like me. And since then, I have only briefly dated one other person, who was wonderful, but it didn't work out. And so in all of that time, regardless of how many people have tried and been interested in me, I have not been able to find the interest for any single one of them. Because I have a fucking crush on a guy I have interacted with once. And I don't even officially know his sexuality. That's a whole other thing. And I have tried so hard to move on from this, to let it go, because I want so badly for it not to cross over into parasocial territory. But in like the 7 minutes that we spoke to each other, one, every time we made eye contact, I thought my heart was gonna fucking burst out of my chest and fly away. Two, I was so nervous that my head just shut off and my mouth had a mind of its own. And anyone who knows me and has ever met me knows that I don't get nervous about people. What the hell was that? 3, he somehow managed to make me want to write music again, something I have not done since my last band broke up in 2019 and I got hit by a car and couldn't sing anymore. And I can sing again now. It took several years, but I got it back because I'm amazing. But how dare you pull my spark back out from underneath the ashes I spent years burying it under because it hurt too much to think about. In like 2 sentences. It's rude. And 4, he failed to take a selfie with me because he was operating on like iPhone settings and I have an Android and I accidentally called him adorable, and immediately wanted to swallow my fucking tongue. Because you don't flirt with people when they're working. That's rude. I paid to... I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. And my point is, it's a whole thing that I would like to no longer have to deal with. And all of this is made worse because I have been recognized at every single concert I've been to in the past year and a half, including 2 of his. And I've been on the Lovejoy Nation podcast twice. So no matter how many times I try to sweep this under the rug and move on with my life, there's always that little thing in the back of my head saying, there's a non-zero chance. Oh my god. So basically, the way I see it, I finally say fuck it. I make this video, I say it all out loud to the ether that is the internet. Worst case scenario, he sees it, he says, hey, not for me. I move on with my life, it's fine. I'm an adult, who cares? I'll take a no over uncertainty any day of the week. Neutral option, nothing happens. Oh well, I guess. Best case scenario... You know? Because honestly, it doesn't matter what I'm doing any day ever for the rest of my life. If he was like, hey, do you want to get dinner or something? I'd say yes. Obviously, I'm delusional. It's fine. But at this point, I'm just so over the not doing anything about the things that I want. You know? What's up with that? No one gets anywhere that way. So fuck it. I've said it out loud.
To him, he is just putting his thoughts into the aether of the internet. But to us, the people watching this at home, he sounds a bit insane. Imagine if you were Wilbur Soot, God forbid, coming across this video. How would you feel? That's something that we don't take into consideration a lot, how the content creators on the other end of the screen actually feel, because a lot of them feel way too far away to care. It's weird to say that if a creator were to randomly ask you out for dinner, then you would say yes, because that isn't going to happen. That isn't just a crush anymore. That is parasocial. However, Tyler will deny that he is parasocial with Wilbur. In fact, in one TikTok, he stands by the fact that he believes he is doing nothing wrong.
Do you know there's a difference between embarrassing and morally wrong, right? They're not the same thing. Because, oh my god, it is so not that serious. Is it embarrassing to publicly admit that you have a crush on someone? Yes. Is it also embarrassing to admit that the person you have a crush on has a larger following than you do? Yeah, sure. But having a crush and feeling emotions about a person you don't know is not inherently wrong. I'm not out here writing self-insert fanfiction or building a shrine to our love in my fucking closet. I said that I had a crush on a guy who I do not know, and that we met one time, made eye contact, and it gave me butterflies. I said it in a way that wasn't strictly literal, because I'm an artist and a poet, and I like to say the pretty words, and y'all are out here acting like I trained an AI chatbot to talk like him. And for the record, we are strictly against AI in this house, just so you know. But are y'all really so online that you forgot that being human is allowed? Yes, he's successful, and there are other people who want him, and he has a larger following than me, and I've had a crush on him for more than a couple years. But he is just a guy. He is just a guy. And yes, having a crush on him makes it hard for me to have a crush on literally anyone else, because he is proof that all the qualities I want in a partner exist as one coherent person. And why the fuck would I want to settle for someone who doesn't have those qualities when I know that those qualities exist? But I'm not out here saying that he's the only person who's allowed to date me. He's the only one who's allowed to try, and if I just wait long enough, he'll fall in love. No! If he asked me out, I would say yes. That is all I said. Having a crush might be embarrassing, but it is not weird, it is not wrong, it is not stripping someone of their rights. It is looking at a person and saying, hey, I really like that person. It would be cool if they liked me too. And that is all it is. It's fine. This is disgustingly parasocial. Do you know what parasocial means? Do you? Because having a crush on someone is not inherently parasocial. Convincing myself that he also has a crush on me and that he wants to marry me, that would be parasocial. Because I don't fucking know the guy. And that's not what I fucking said. But the thing that really gets me is that everything I said in that video, I have said several times in other videos. I just didn't put a name to it. And the second I put a name to it, y'all start acting like I'm an obsessed stalker who knows everything about him and is following him around the town. Oh my god. I just have to keep reminding myself that so much of the internet is teenagers who don't know anything of the outside world other than, like, their school, their house, and their little sphere of the internet. And, like, I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. We've all been there. But oh my god, y'all are frustrating. Just scroll. Just move on with your lives. And just before I end this video, I would like the record to show that not only do I have more followers now than he did when I first found his content, but also I know who I am. And I know I can pull. And thinking to myself, hey, I bet if this guy knew me, he'd probably like me back. There's a chance. Is also not parasocial. It's just thinking.
In another TikTok, he actually calls out people for being parasocial towards him.
Someone tried to add me into a Lovejoy-centric group chat yesterday, and here's the thing. If you think of Lovejoy and immediately think of me, I am beyond flattered, I promise. However, I am a person, and not just a figment of the internet. And what's worse is that, I am a strange man on the internet, a strange adult man. And there is a very good reason that I typically only answer business-related DMs. Just because I know I'm a safe person does not mean that you know I'm a safe person. So DMing me with a question about my content or the things that I make, yeah, fine, I'll probably answer. But trying to add me to a group chat where there are already explicitly sexual messages, when there are also almost definitely minors in that group chat already, that is not something I am in any way comfortable with, and it is not something that you should be comfortable with. Because again, I am a strange adult man on the internet. What else is there to say about that? You do not know me. You can't know me because you've never met me. And while I do allow my public videos and comment sections to be a safe space for minors, because frankly I'm afraid of where they'll end up if I don't, that does not give you permission to add me into private group chats. Because again, I am a strange adult man on the internet who you do not know. And while I know that I'm never going to do anything dangerous or harmful to basically anyone, that does not mean that you know that. Because you do not know me. So yeah, I'm not going to name names because I want them to learn from this and not immediately be attacked. But yeah, please never do that again.
Tyler has every right to call these people out. That is a very disturbing group chat to be added to, and I can only imagine his shock. But doesn't he see the irony in what he is saying? Wilbur Soot is also a strange man on the internet. To Wilbur, Tyler is a strange man on the internet. At times, Tyler acts as though he knows Wilbur, but he spreads the sentiment in this video about how people do not know him because they have never met him. Tyler met Wilbur at a show where he paid to be, which does not count as knowing them. He is in the exact same boat with Wilbur as these people are with him, and it's scary that he can't see that. Although Tyler has already crossed the line into being parasocial, although he will always deny it, he isn't the only one. As he rightly states, people have stopped simply watching his content. They have become obsessed with him. One search of Tyler's name on TikTok right now and you'll find opinion pieces, re-uploads, and great, that's fine. But in other corners of the internet, you'll find edits and pure addiction. This isn't uncommon on the internet. In fact, you can easily find it. Usually, it's about the creators themselves, like in the case of Tyler obsessing with Wilbur, but in other instances, some people are doing it to the parasocial person themselves, and they won't even see the problem. They'll instead think that they are just consuming. They will believe that they can't possibly be parasocial with a parasocial person, but it isn't as simple as that. When this behaviour is left unchecked, creators start to be harassed. There are far too many instances where fans have shown up at YouTubers' houses thinking that it was a normal thing to do when that is far from okay. People with parasocial audiences can lose any real separation between their online presence and their private lives. People begin to treat them not like an individual, but like something that can be observed at all hours of the day. And right now, it's being normalized online. Tyler is weird. He is a strange guy, but that doesn't give the people the right to dehumanize him. He is crossing so many boundaries and becoming something of a lol cow, but people aren't watching him anymore. They are quite literally monitoring him. At this point, he will never be able to go back to a somewhat private life because everything he ever does will be dissected until the end of time. You could make the argument that he could just leave the internet, but it's not as easy as that. It will be said that it's simply analysing or discussing a creator, but sometimes you're not just doing that. You're building an emotional investment in their every move. That makes you parasocial too, just in a different shade than Tyler. The cycle has already become difficult to break because nobody sees themselves as part of the problem. Tyler doesn't, the people watching him don't, and even the people analysing him feel like they are somehow outside of it. But technically, even I'm part of the problem. I'm not immune from the criticism that I'm presenting because I'm interpreting him without knowing him. That is the uncomfortable reality of it. Tyler has become a collection of clips that are constantly being rearranged to fit whatever narrative we're trying to spin. We are shaping his internet presence through the attention that we are giving him. People have decided who Tyler is, and now there's not much he can do to dig himself out of the hole he's been put into by the internet. This is his life, and to be honest, I don't really see an end to it. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you did enjoy, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. It really helps the channel. If you are listening on Spotify, you can rate the show 5 stars and also follow the podcast. All of my social links are in the description and on screen right now, and thank you to everyone supporting the channel for memberships, whether that's here on Patreon or on Jessicur Plus. You mean the world to me. I'll be back very soon, but if you want another right now, then YouTube thinks that you'll like the video that's on your screen.